Jealousy is a green-eyed monster, or in this case a pale-skinned brown and purple black Speedo wearing monster. We open on Simon Stagg, a man with Doc Brown's hairstyle and Colonel Sanders' dress sense, presenting his newest project to a bunch of investors.
I call it Metamorpho. A chemically altered worker who will not merely survive in most hazardous environments, but will thrive in them.
However, with no physical proof of this project, the investors leave, with a little while later Stagg being seen instructing his right-hand man Java in carrying a case of mutagen that will allow them to complete the project. However, wild happenstance causes the case to open on the train and the mutagen to leak out, making it crash, which is able to be saved by Green Lantern. As the scene is being inspected, Green Lantern finds an old friend, Rex Mason, who happened to be on the train and also works for Stagg's company. John is invited to Rex's place for a drink and meets his meets his fiancée, Sapphire Stagg.
You're dating the boss's daughter?
I told you this job had great perks.
Only thing is, Daddy doesn't know yet.
You always did like living dangerously.
Meanwhile, Batman has been investigating and finds traces of the mutagen and informs Green Lantern, who ends up confronting Rex. Rex confronts Stagg about this event, and later, when Stagg comes to his daughter's apartment, he finds Rex there, who gives his notice and that both he and Sapphire are leaving town as Rex has a new job. Stagg leaves, pretending to be fine, which for some reason Rex believes, despite, well, all this stuff.
Then hear this. Stay out of it.
And if I don't?
I made you, and I can just as easily unmake you.
And goes to clean out his desk in the middle of the night. Yeah, that's kind of a part where my suspension of disbelief takes a bit of a nosedive. Rex is tricked into walking into the middle of a lab inside the building and wakes up in a hospital bed, discovering what's happened to him.
What is it? What's wrong?
Brace yourself, son.
No! No!
Obviously, he freaks the hell out and causes some initial problems out in the streets, where he's met with hostility. Green Lantern comes, having heard about what happened, and Java ends up taking a photo of him and Sapphire, which is then used by Stagg to trick Rex into thinking this was all John's fault. Yeah, this guy is obviously not thinking clearly, since he places the blame correctly on Stagg, but immediately goes on to this other tangent of John, despite issues that we'll get into later. Whilst the League is looking for Rex, Green Lantern and Hawkgirl stop a robbery in progress, with Green Lantern almost getting shot due to his being distracted.
Care to talk about it?
Running into Mason after all these years, I guess it got me thinking, wondering about the choices I've made.
The road not taken?
Yeah. Maybe I could have been like him. Wealthy, successful.
Engaged to a beautiful woman?
Rex calls John and they meet, with Rex soon attacking John and knocking him unconscious. Luckily, the rest of the League appear, though Rex is able to hold them off, with Stagg filming the entire fight. However, Rex flees, deciding instead to confront Sapphire.
My so-called buddy Green Lantern. But who wouldn't rather be with a superhero instead of a freak like me?
How could you even think that?
Don't bother denying it. I know what happened.
Holy hell, that girl has some level of bravery. This guy took down Superman and she's just slapped him upside the head. Rex realizes that he's been played, seeming like he's gotten a clearer head. But then he goes to try and kill Stagg instead. Yeah, that did not work out how he expected. Sapphire contacts John and reveals that Rex was always jealous of him, whilst John assures her they'll find him and help. Stagg tries to get rid of Rex by letting two of his goons handle it, because that worked so well last time with Java. Which of course goes wrong and Rex is free to go after Stagg again. Unfortunately, Rex ends up interrupting Stagg's plan and causes Stagg to go catatonic and a huge chemical monster to appear, which could almost be an early version of the villain Chemo, or Chemo, however it's pronounced. The League tries to stop the creature, but to no avail, whilst Rex realizes that the monster is following its instincts, or in this case, Stagg's instincts, meaning there's only one place it'll go.
Oh, Rex, what's happened to you? Rexy?
Copying King Kong, because it'd be a waste if they didn't, The monster climbs high with Sapphire, and she believes it to be Rex, only to quickly learn the truth. It seems hopeless until Batman reveals he's come up with a formula that can counteract the monster. However, it'll take days to produce. Except for Rex, it won't. Knocking out Green Lantern and heading back up to the monster, Rex transforms it into the formula and destroys the monster.
I love you, Saf.
Soon after, both John and Sapphire mourn the loss of Rex, as the puddles created by the monster begin to reform, revealing Rex to still be alive.
I wouldn't want to do that again.
Rex! You're alive!
You can't get rid of me that easily.
Thus, with things back on track, the episode ends. I keep bringing up on this list the need for character development during episodes, or at the very least for characters to feel more human than perhaps just the goody two-shoes that they're intended to be. And this episode nails it. John and Rex's relationship and mutual envy works well and makes for interesting character moments and relationships. The fact that the Green Lantern almost lets his thoughts distract him so much that he's able to be hit by a robber shows a truly human moment. And there are more great characters in this episode. The overprotective father, the caring fiancé who'll stand by their partner no matter what, along with Rex's character just trying to do what he does when he gets royally screwed. Even, of course, if he does flirt with other women despite being in a loving relationship. However, the problems with this story is the plot. A lot of it's too contrived. The fact that Stag has Java take a train instead of sending a car to pick him up. I can understand secrecy and all, but really? Public transportation with highly illegal substances? The fact that Rex doesn't go to the cops about the mutagen or tell John when he accuses him, despite knowing it must be Stag, since he accuses him in the very next scene. And how could they not figure out it's him? Java isn't the most subtle of people to be walking around. It'd be kind of obvious. As well as Rex cleaning out his office in the middle of the night, and on that very night in question. It's too forced. Why wouldn't he have done it before he left the building after talking with Stag the first time? Along with trusting Stag when he sees the photos. Sure, you could say his mind was fucked up and he's not thinking clearly, but he was thinking clearly enough to fight the Justice League with no problems. The actual real casualty here at the end of the day is actually during Justice League Unlimited, Rex is only seen in cameos when it seems like they could have continued this story so easily. But that's part of this metamorphosis that got this episode here at number 16. Hey people, and thanks for watching this video. If you want to see the next one of these a full day before anybody else, you can do that by supporting me on my Patreon page. However, if you're watching this on my Patreon page, then thanks for your support.